The stars above Sector 7 Delta were calm. Nothing moved. The silence of space stretched across black void and empty dust. Ships from many species passed through this area often. It was known to be safe. No wars, no danger. But on this day, something small drifted through that empty space. A single Earth scout ship. Old, slow, and alone. Its pilot was a man named Lieutenant Caleb Rowe. He had been on a long mission, far from Earth, far from any help. His ship sent signals every few hours to Earth Command, saying all was fine, until now. Caleb didn't see the danger coming. It appeared out of nowhere. 4 ships belonging to the Zorak Dominion had entered the sector. Zoraks were proud, tall, aliens with blue skin and red eyes. Their ships were new and powerful, armed with plasma spears and defense drones. Their patrol was normalant till they saw the Earth. Scout ship on their radar. One young Zorak officer looked at it and frowned. "What is this? A ghost ship? No shields, no weapons. Is it even alive?" The commander of the Zorak group, General Trask, laughed. "Earth's trash. Maybe a probe or old explorer. They send these weak things into our space?" Another officer asked, "Should we destroy it or just ignore it?" Trask didn't think long. Destroy it. Teach them not to float near our space like insects. The plasma cannon charged. The beam fired. It hit the Earth scout ship directly. Inside, Caleb's ship shook violently. Red lights blinked. Warning sounds screamed in his ears. The walls broke. Smoke filled the air. Caleb coughed, bleeding from a deep wound. But somehow he was still alive. One hand reached up, shaking, and pressed a small red button. A simple signal shot out from the dying ship. Only one word was sent. "Remember." Then the ship exploded. The Zorak ships watched the fireball fade. The humans were gone, they thought. No reply. No ships coming. No sound. They moved on. But across the stars on a quiet moon base far from Earth, the signal was received. A small communications officer read the message. His face went pale. He stood up slowly and whispered to his commander. Commander Lee stared at the message. One word. "Remember." That was the code, secret code. The last time it was used was over 200 years ago. Lee didn't speak. He turned, walked to the nearest screen, and typed in a command. Far below the moon's surface, machines began to wake up. Giant doors opened, and Earth went silent. The galaxy noticed. Humans, once loud on every channel, were now quiet. No messages, no trade ships. No calls, nothing. The Zorak High Council, sitting in their crystal tower on Zorak Prime, laughed. They hide now, afraid. "We destroy one small ship, and they panic," said Elder Jorn, smiling with his teeth out. But one voice in the chamber didn't smile. Advisor Vex stood, shaking. He was young, half the age of the other council members, but he had studied Earth more than anyone in the room. "You don't understand?" he said quietly. They did not hide, they remembered. The council laughed again. Elder Jorn rolled his eyes. They're soft, weak, emotional. They spread peace. They haven't fought a real war in centuries. Vex held up a small device. "I found this a record from Earth's ancient past. Listen. To this, the room played a recording. Old footage. It's grainy, loud, full of fire, explosions, tanks, soldiers screaming, planes dropping bombs, cities burning." The council looked confused. "What are we watching?" one asked. "Earth long ago," said Vex, "when they fought each other before they even left their own planet. They were monsters to their own kind. They created weapons that poisoned the sky, burned millions, ended entire nations." The room grew cold. "And now," Vex continued, "now they are quiet. Now they build ships that look peaceful. But they remember everything. They never forgot what they are, Elder." Yorn frowned. "Enough of this. One human ship destroyed. That's all." But Vex looked up, his voice now shaking. "That's not all. I checked their last known patrol. The ship we destroyed was a deep scout. Its real job was not to explore but to mark threats. There was silence. Vex looked at the stars through the large crystal windows. It marked us. 2 days passed. Then, the sky over Zorak Prime changed. A strange sound broke through every speaker. Every ship, every screen. It was human. No voice. Just a soft pulse. A hum, and one phrase repeated. We remember. The Zorak defense towers scrambled. Told to return? Fighters were launched into orbit. Then they saw it. 3 black ships entered Zorak space. No colors. No flags. No heat signatures. Just black, smooth holes, larger than any Zorak warcruiser. The fleet commander tried to speak to them. No reply. He sent drones. The drones vanished before they got close. He fired warning shots. The black ships didn't move. Then one of the black ships sent a file. No words, no threats, just a list. Names, numbers, coordinates. It was the crew list of the, destroyed Earth scout ship. The top, Lieutenant Caleb Rowe. Below, the date and location of his death. At the bottom, the Zorak ship ID that fired the first shot. Then, the black ships moved, but they didn't fire. Instead, one of the Zorak ships exploded. No warning, no trace, just gone. Another Zorak ship tried to escape. It was cut in half mid-jump. The third ship tried to ram the black cruiser. It melted before it got close. All of this, in 12 seconds, across Zorak space, panic began. Civilian ships fled. Military bases went quiet. The capital planet went into lockdown, and still. Earth sent no demands, no voice, only silence. General Trask, the one who gave the order to fire, on Caleb's ship, stood in his command tower, watching the black shapes above. His hands shook. They're not like the others, he whispered. They're not like us. Advisor Vex entered the room. He stared at the screen. They tried. Peace, he said. We gave them war. Outside, the stars burned colder than before, and the humans kept coming. Zorak Prime was one of the oldest and richest planets in the galaxy. Its buildings were tall and made of silver stone. Sky always glowed blue. Inside the High Council Tower, the most powerful Zorak sat on floating seats, dressed in armor, made from crystal dust. The council chamber was quiet, but not serious. Most members laughed and talked. They laughed about Earth. They laughed about the black ships. They said it was a bluff. Elder Jorn, leader of the council, stood tall. He was strong, proud, and never afraid. Humans are strange, he said, but weak. They hide behind their machines. We hit one scout ship and they send us a ghost fleet. Is this fear or a joke? Others laughed with him. Only one voice didn't join the laughter. Advisor Vex stood in the corner, holding a glowing tablet. He was young and nervous, but he had studied Earth for years. He had read every report, every war file, every peace deal. He knew something the others refused to see. They're not bluffing, he said softly. The room fell quiet for a moment. Jorn turned toward him, amused. Speak louder, boy, Vex did. They're not bluffing. Humans sent no warning. No demand. No message. Only silence. That silence is not weakness. Silence is fury. Jorn waved a hand. Fury. Over one dead scout. Vex stepped forward. Not just a scout. That ship was deep recon. Its job was to map threat zones, and when it was attacked, it sent only one word back to Earth. Several council members leaned forward. What word? Remember, Vex said. A murmur went around the chamber. Jorn scoffed. Poetic. No, Vex said. It was code, old human code. It activates something deep inside their system. I found it in Earth's forgotten archives, when that word is sent. Humanity does not respond with words. They respond with memory, with war. Jorn sat back, annoyed. Then let them come. We are the Dominion. We control 6 systems. We have 2 million ships. Vex didn't blink. They don't need 2 million ships. They need 3. And they already sent them. Everyone turned quiet again. Outside the tower, the sky above Zorak Prime was still blue. But there was a shadow near the outer orbit. A black shape, silent, unmoving. One of the Earth warships. Since its arrival, the Dominion had tried to scan. They failed. They tried to board it. Their ships vanished. They tried to shoot it. Weapons failed mid-dash fire. Inside the warship, humans didn't speak. They simply watched. Earth Command was quiet too. No press, no leaders on screen. No words to the galaxy. They were remembering far from Zorak Prime. In a secret Dominion lab on planet Taraxis, the only known human prisoner sat inside a glass cell. His name was Sergeant Decker. He'd been captured months ago during a trade. Border scan. At that time, the Zoraks believed humans were simple traders. Now, the scientists stared at him in fear. The glass was 2 meters thick. The cell was surrounded by 10 guards, drones, and scanners. Decker didn't move. He only sat and smiled. Dr. Kelso, the lead scientist, stood outside the cell. He hasn't spoken in 3 days. Maybe he broke, one assistant said. No. Kelso said, he's calm. To calm. Then Decker stood up. Everyone froze. He stepped to the glass and placed a hand on it. You fired the first shot, he said, voice low. Kelso replied, We were only defending our space. Decker's smile didn't change. No. You fired first. Now you get to see what that means. What does it mean? Kelso asked, feeling his chest tighten. Decker's eyes glowed in the low light. It means Earth is remembering. Back on Zorak Prime, Council Leader Jorn ordered a meeting of all fleet commanders. 6 of them appeared by hologram. All looked. Worried Fleet Admiral Kor spoke first. The black ships are not using any known engine type. They don't move by speed. They appear. They vanish. They are impossible to track. Another commander added, We lost contact with Outpost 92. Then Outpost 95. Then Base Velker. All in less than 1 minute. Attacks? Jorn asked. No sound. No weapon seen. Just darkness. And then nothing. Advisor Vex stepped in again. This is how they fight. Not with fire, but with silence. With speed. They don't want to win a war. They want to finish one before it starts. But why not talk to us? Another counselor asked. Vex looked around, because they already tried peace, and we answered with death. The room felt colder now. Suddenly, the main chamber lights flickered. A deep hum vibrated the floor. A guard ran in. Sir, the sky is changing. Jorn and the others rushed to the viewing platform above Zorak Prime. More black ships appeared. 5 now. No sound. No signal. Just presence. They formed a perfect circle in orbit. Then, something unexpected happened. A message. The humans finally spoke. But it wasn't a threat. It was history. On every Zorak screen, an old video began to play. Images of Earth's ancient wars, tanks rolling through fire, bombs falling, soldiers running through mud, cities destroyed in light and flame. Then the screen changed. Nuclear clouds rising, children hiding in shelters, chemical weapons burning, skin satellites crashing into oceans. Silence. The next part of the message showed something new. Rebuilding. Humans. Helping each other, planting, teaching, healing, growing again. And then, a final image, a single human soldier standing over a broken flag. Behind him, the words we. Remember to protect. We remember to end what must never return. And the screen went black. The message was over. Zorak Prime didn't speak. No one did, until Jorn whispered, What do they want? Vex turned, eyes heavy. They don't want anything. We woke something old inside them, something they hoped to keep buried. The room felt like a tomb, then a soft beep echoed. It was from the black ships? A second message, only 1 line. Your council has 10 hours to answer for Calebro. 10 hours. That was the time given. Zorak Prime did not sleep. Streets were full of fear. Military ships stayed in orbit. Scientists ran tests. Leaders whispered in locked rooms. The black ships stayed above, unmoving, like shadows carved into space, silent, cold, watching. The people of Zorak had never seen ships like these. They had no engines, no markings, no signals. Just smooth black metal, darker than space itself. Light seemed to run away from them. Inside the High Council Tower, Elder Jorn stood by the window, his jaw tight. "Still no message from Earth?" "No," replied the defense officer. "Only the same warning. 10 hours. Nothing more." "Long has it been? 8 hours? 17 minutes?" Jorn turned to his council. "Then we wait no more," we respond. Some members nodded. Others looked unsure. "What will we say?" one asked. Jorn lifted his chin. "We say what we always say. We are the Zorak Dominion. We don't kneel to fear." Advisor Vex stepped forward quickly. "If you say the wrong thing, they will not talk again. They will not attack. They will erase." Jorn glared at him. "Then let them try," he sent the message. Across the stars, on a hidden moon near Earth, the message was received by Earth Command. The humans said nothing. They simply tapped a screen above Zorak Prime. The 5 black ships lit up. They moved, but not. With sound or fire, they simply disappeared. For 1 second, all satellites and radars went blank. And then, the Capitol Tower lost power. The High Council chamber turned dark. Emergency lights flickered. Alarms rang. Shields activated, but then deactivated again. Doors locked, but then opened on their own. "What's happening?" shouted Jorn. "Advisor?" Vex looked at his device. "They're inside our system. They're not hacking us, they are us now." Suddenly, the ceiling above cracked open, not from explosion, but from something far worse. One of the black ships had landed, directly above the High Council Tower. It didn't crash. It descended slow, smooth, impossible. Not a single sound. Then, a ramp opened, and out came 5 humans. Not an army, not a robot. Just 5 people, dressed in black armor. No weapons in hand, helmets hiding their faces. They walked straight into the tower. Zorak soldiers aimed. Weapons the humans didn't stop. One soldier fired a warning shot. The laser stopped mid-rand, vanished. Another tried to charge. He froze before he reached them. His body collapsed. No wound, just shut down. The humans kept walking. Jorn stared as they entered the council chamber. His voice cracked with rage. "Who dares?" One of the humans removed their helmet. It was a woman, pale skin, silver eyes. She said only one thing: "Lieutenant. Caleb Rowe, Earth pilot. Died by Zorak fire." "This is your moment to answer," Jorn shouted. "That was a mistake. 1 ship, 1 pilot." She stepped closer. "We are not here for revenge. We are here for memory. You forgot what we are. Now we show you." With a wave of her hand, a small black cube floated into the air. It spun slowly. Then it began to show images. Real images. Zorak war crimes, border raids, secret labs, torture of prisoners. Even the shooting of Caleb's ship clearly marked as peaceful explorer class. Advisor Vex's face went pale. "These files? They're real. But how do they have these?" The human woman looked at him. "We were always watching." Jorn stepped forward, trying to sound strong. "What do you want from us?" She turned slowly. "Nothing. That is what you gave us. Now we give it back." Outside the tower, the other black ships released small orbs into the sky. They didn't fall. They floated silently. Each one stopped over a military base then. Every weapon on Zorak Prime shut down. Ships powered off. Defense grids faded. Cameras stopped working. The entire planet was disabled without a shot, without a sound. Just dash off. Jorn dropped to his knees. "We surrender." The woman looked down. At him, there is no war to surrender. There is only a mistake. Jorn whispered, "Then please, forgive." She stared at him for a long time, then finally said, "Earth is not cruel, but we remember." The humans left. The black ships rose. Again, within minutes, they were gone. Zorak Prime began to breathe again. Systems came back. Ships returned to life. People looked up, shocked that they were still alive. Inside the tower, Advisor Vex stood alone. Jorn sat silently, broken. Vex whispered, "We made the biggest mistake in galactic history." One of the council members asked him, "What are they? What are the humans?" Vex said, "Only this. They are peace." With the memory of fire, the lab on planet Taraxis was cold, silent, and deep underground. No one smiled there. No one slept well, because inside Cell 7 was something that made the entire facility nervous. A human. He was the only one ever captured alive. His name was Sergeant. Decker's Zorak intelligence thought he would be easy to break, just another soft, talkative species. But they were wrong. He had been in that cell for 51 days, and he still had not spoken a single useful word. Dr. Kelso, the lead interrogator, stood outside the thick glass wall. He looked at Decker, who sat calmly in the center of the room. No chains, no restraints, just silence. "We've tried everything," said Assistant Relic. "Gas illusions, noise, food deprivation. He doesn't react. He just ... sits." Kelso sighed, but he's not resisting. He's waiting. Relic frowned. Waiting for what? Decker opened his eyes. He was listening. Kelso stepped closer to the glass. "Sergeant Decker, your people have begun disabling our systems. Your fleet entered our skies. Tell us what they want. Tell us what they're planning." Decker smiled. A soft, calm smile. Then, for the first time in weeks, he spoke. "I'm not here to tell you what's coming." Kelso leaned in. "Then why are you here?" Decker stood up slowly and walked to the glass. "To remind you," he said, "what humans really are." Relic took a step back. "Threat." Decker shook his head. "No, memory." He pressed his hand to the glass. "You think you've met our weapons? You haven't? You think you've seen our soldiers? You haven't? You think our silence is weakness?" He leaned closer. "It's mercy." The lights in the room flickered. Then a deep hum echoed through the walls. The lab trembled. Kelso turned to his screen. "What's happening?" A guard ran into the room, pale and shaking. "Sir, the black ships are above Taraxis. They've arrived." Kelso's eyes widened. "Here? But why? They didn't send a message. They didn't fire. They just arrived." Decker smiled again. "'Cause I've been here long enough." In orbit, the sky above planet Taraxis was dark. 6 black Earth ships floated silently. They did not fire. They did not move. They simply opened. Dozens of small drones emerged, shaped like steel birds. They spread through the upper atmosphere, scanning everything. Then one message was sent to the Zorak lab: "Return our soldier." Kelso stared at the message. "They want Decker?" said the guard. "And we don't know what happens if we say no." Kelso looked back at the human behind the glass. "You're just one man. Why would Earth send ships for you?" Decker's voice was calm. "Because I'm not just one man. I'm a message." The lab's power went out. Backup lights kicked on. Then the doors unlocked on their own. Systems failed. Shields shut down. Emergency calls couldn't leave the planet. Decker's cell door slid open. No one touched it. Kelso stepped back. "He can't leave. We still control this facility," Relic whispered. "Do we?" Decker walked out of his cell. Guards raised weapons, but he kept walking, one by one. Their weapons powered down. Lights above flickered again. The hallway opened. Like it was welcoming him, no one stopped him. He stepped outside the main lab doors, and the sky above opened. A single black ship hovered just above the ground, no engines showing. Ramp extended slowly. Decker turned back once. He looked at Kelso and Relic. "Earth didn't come to destroy you," he said. "But you should remember this moment, because next time, we might not come to forgive." He walked up the ramp. The ship closed and rose into the clouds. Inside the lab, everyone stood still, frozen. Shaken, on Zorak Prime, Council Leader Jorn received the report. He read it 3 times before speaking. They walked into our base and walked out with their soldier. Visor Vex nodded. Yes, no war, no fight, just ... took him. Yes, Jorn dropped the datapad. And we're not dealing with a race. We're dealing with a force. Vex looked toward the stars. No, he said. We're dealing with something worse. What? Humanity? Remembering what it used to be? Zorak Prime had always been a symbol of power. Giant towers, glowing cities, fleets parked like trophies in orbit. For hundreds of years it ruled 6 systems. No one dared challenge it until now. The humans were still silent, but their silence had changed. It was no longer quiet. It was heavy. Above Zorak Prime, the sky looked wrong. The stars weren't where they used to be. That's because the Black Earth ships were now in low orbit so dark. They erased the stars behind them. No weapons showed. No lights blinked, but everyone on the planet could feel them. Council Leader Jorn stood at the edge of the defense tower, staring upward. His eyes were red with fear, though he tried to hide it. How many ships? Only 5, said the fleet officer beside him. Same ones from before. Jorn clenched his fists. Then why do we feel like we've already lost? Below, the cities were quiet, streets empty, children hidden in shelters. Soldiers lined the rooftops with weapons, though they all knew those weapons had failed once before. Advisor Vex entered the tower room holding a tablet. His face was pale. They've sent a message, he said. Jorn turned quickly. Finally, what do they want this time? Vex handed him the tablet. The message was not a demand, not a warning. Just 3 words. This is restraint. Jorn stared at the words. What does that mean? Vex looked him in the eye. It means this. Is them holding back. Suddenly the planet shook, but there was no explosion, no attack. The sound was missing. Still something was happening. Across Zorak Prime, military satellites began to fall. Not from fire. From sudden engine failure. They dropped like dead birds from the sky. Then power grids went. Dark. Entire cities flickered and died. The towers that powered shields stopped working. Hospitals shut down. Ship. Hangars locked. The entire planet was being turned off. But no fire came from the human ships. Nothing exploded. No one screamed. Everything just stopped. One by one, the capital city, Zoranus, was the last to go dark.
Ow.
Even its lights blinked out like candles dying in a storm. Still, not a single human fired a shot. Inside the High Council Tower, Jorn grabbed Vex by the collar. We must fight. Launch the remaining fleet. Vex didn't struggle. He just looked sad. There is no fleet, he said quietly. They shut our ships down before we even gave the order. Jorn pushed him away, breathing hard. He turned to the window, and then something new appeared in the sky. It was not a weapon. It was a projection. High above the dark planet, a large image filled the sky, visible to every citizen on Zorak Prime. It was a human face. A woman in a black uniform. Her voice echoed softly, translated into every Zorak dialect. This is not war. This is memory. You attacked an unarmed ship. You killed a peaceful pilot. You laughed when we mourned. You did not come to destroy. We come to remind. She paused. We are not conquerors. But we remember how. And the face vanished. And the stars returned. The black ships began to rise. They were leaving just like that. But they left something behind, Small cube. It floated down slowly from orbit. It landed on the center plaza of Zeronis, where statues of Zerone heroes stood tall. As soon as it touched the ground, statues crumbled into dust. The cube lit up and began playing Old War. Footage Earth's wars, humans fighting humans. Cities turned to ashes. Fire falling from the sky, and then Earth rebuilding. People rising again, helping, protecting, learning. The final words on the cube: we remember not to destroy. We remember so we never have to again. That day became known as the Day of Silence. No shots fired, no lives taken. But Zorak Prime fell. Its power, its pride, its fleets, its voice, all gone, and the galaxy was watching across other planets. News spread fast. The humans had moved, but not to conquer. They moved to warn, to remind. In the Galactic Senate, ambassadors from other empires sat frozen, watching the final footage from Zorak Prime. One ambassador from the Krell Union whispered, "They never even raised their voice." Another replied, "Because they don't need to." Far away, deep in Earth's home system, the black ships returned. They docked quietly. No cheers, no flags, no celebration, just silence. Because for Earth, this was not victory, it was memory. The ship landed quietly on Europa, Jupiter's frozen moon. Thick layers of ice cracked under its landing gear. A team of scientists and soldiers stepped out. They wore heavy suits to protect themselves from the cold and radiation. No one spoke. Everyone knew what they were here for, the Black Room. It had been buried deep under Europa's surface long before humans arrived. The first alien signal came from this place, a whisper faint and strange. Not a distress call, not a warning, just a message. Unknown language, repeating endlessly. When Earth decoded only 2 words, "You first," everything changed. Humanities. Leaders had been confused. Who sent the signal? Why here? Why those words? Now, 2 months later, Earth sent a special team to investigate. Captain Mira led them. She was quiet, sharp, and had seen things in other worlds she never spoke about. With her was Dr. Kane, the linguist who decoded the message, and Sergeant Vorn. A soldier with a metal arm and no fear in his eyes. They walked through the thick ice tunnel carved by drones earlier that week. The air grew colder, darker. Lights flickered behind them as they reached the sealed door, a black metallic circle covered in alien markings. Mira stared at it. "This is it," she said. Dr. Kane nodded. "These symbols. They don't match any known language. It's not even the ones from the war archives. This door, it's ancient. It's a pre-galactic civilization, maybe." Vorn stepped forward. "We opening. It are staring at it till we freeze." Mira raised her hand, stopping him. "We open it. Slowly. Stay sharp." They attached the plasma cutter. The metal screamed as it split. A hiss of warm air blew out, fogging their helmets. The door fell, with a heavy thud behind it. Darkness. Thick and unnatural. They entered. The inside was dry. Walls were black, smooth like glass. No lights, no machines. It's just silence. Then a hum, deep and low. Not sound, but vibration. In their bones, Dr. Kane pulled out a scanner. Something's awake. Something very, very old. Soft red glow appeared ahead. They followed it. In the center of the room stood a black cube. It's floating, spinning slowly. No support, no wires. Just there. Sergeant Vorn circled it. "Looks harmless. Want me to touch it?" "No." Kane and Mira shouted together. But it was too late. His fingers brushed the cube. The room exploded with red light. Alarms back on Earth began screaming. Satellites across the solar system picked up strange signals. Ancient code. Binary, mixed with something else. Something alive. On Europa, the team fell to the ground. Their suits locked up. Their hearts pounded as a voice echoed in their helmets, not in words but in meaning. "You were warned," Myra crawled. To her feet. "Shut it down." Kane screamed. "It's not a machine. It's a mind." The cube pulsed, a flash. Then silence. The team awoke hours later. The cube was gone. But something had changed. Dr. Kane stared at the wall. The alien symbols were gone, replaced by something worse. Human writing. In blood-red glow. One sentence. "War begins with your step." Back on Earth, the message spread faster than light. Every race in the galaxy had been watching Earth quietly, testing them, poking them, waiting, and now they all saw it. A human team walked into the one place no race dared enter and triggered the oldest defense in the galaxy. Not a trap, a challenge. The Council of Threxos, who once ruled half the stars, called an emergency meeting. They entered the black room. Impossible. Unbelievable. And yet, they lived. A tall alien with green skin and one eye whispered, "We are not ready for them." Another voice growled, "They were warned." Yet they stepped forward, and that is what makes them terrifying. The galaxy now knew. Humans had touched the forbidden. The thing every other race feared and smiled. But what the humans didn't know was that the black room was just the first door, and they had already opened the second as Earth slept. Something vast and old began to move between the stars, drawn by the humans who didn't fear the dark. Not because they were foolish, but because the dark reminded them of home, and war was coming. But this time it wouldn't be like before. This time humanity would be the storm. The ground trembled beneath their boots. Commander Relk of the Droviak Empire looked up at the sky with wide eyes. The clouds had turned black, not from weather, but from smoke. Human ships, he couldn't understand. This was not how it was supposed to happen. Earth was supposed to fall. It was weak, new to the stars, untrained in war. But now, something else had come out of the Earth's orbit. A ship. Noah Beast the Droviak called it Zenthal class, Dreadkiller. But humans had named it something worse. Leviathan, no one knew who built it. Some said it wasn't even made on Earth. Some believed it was a dead planet's core turned into a war engine. Others said it was the last gift of an extinct alien race handed to humans when they cried for vengeance. The truth? No one really knew. But it didn't matter now. It was awake, and it was angry. Commander Relks comes, screamed with panic. His fleet, 500 ships strong, was falling apart. Missiles didn't reach the Leviathan. Lasers bounced off its skin like dust off stone, and then something worse happened. The voice. Deep. Cold. Not human. Not machine. This war has ended. You have been judged. Relk's eyes widened. That voice was not a warning. It was a sentence. The Leviathan charged its core, not a regular cannon, but a gravity weapon. It bent the sky, pulled moons out of orbit. Then it fired. Silence followed. Half of Relk's fleet was gone, not destroyed. Dash erased. His second-in-command screamed into the coms, "We need to jump." Now, it's not a ship, it's a god. But it was too late. Leviathan moved without turning. It didn't need thrusters. Controlled space around it. It bent reality like a fish swims through water, and now it came for Relk. But the monster didn't fire again? No, it spoke. Hey, this is the price of war with Earth. And then it released something from its core. Not a missile, not a weapon, but a being. A small black dot. At first, then it grew. A humanoid figure, but not quite human. This was Project Hollowa, being made from the minds of the Earth's broken scientists to angry leaders and dying soldiers. A living weapon, a ghost of Earth's rage. The Droviak ships turned everything on it. They fired 1,000 rounds. They used light cannons, black hole bombs, plasma drills. Nothing worked. The being sliced ships in half with waves of its hands. Moved without touching. It whispered, and machines broke. It floated through fire like a spirit of war, and it was laughing. Rielke stood frozen on his command deck. "This is not war," he whispered. "This is punishment." Earth had not sent diplomats. It had not sent warnings. It had sent the Leviathan. And now, the Hollow. Relk didn't even give the order. His crew had already activated emergency jump drives. It had seen enough. And yet, before a ship could escape, the Hollow appeared in front of them, floating, smiling, empty eyes, staring. Through the glass, and then it raised its hand. The last thing Relk saw was his own face melting in terror, far away on Earth, deep beneath the surface. The last remaining human leaders watched the battle logs in silence. A young officer looked up from his screen. Or ... should we call it back? The leader of the human. War Council shook his head slowly. "No," he said. "Let the galaxy see what it woke up. Because long ago, when Earth burned under alien fire, and cities fell, and children cried under shattered skies, humanity made a promise. We will never be weak again. We will become the storm. Now that promise had taken form. The Leviathan moved through the stars, silent and unstoppable, and behind it, the Hollow followed. They thought it was over. The Galactic High Command had lost every fleet, every superweapon, every backup world. Their once mighty empire was now nothing more than scattered ships hiding in deep space, but even now, they refused to believe that war was truly lost. On a cold and quiet moon called Tralix 9, the remaining leaders gathered in secret. They whispered plans of survival, of revenge. They believed humanity would stop chasing them. They believed Earth had done enough. They were wrong. The sky above Tralix 9 burned without warning. No signal. No demand, no mercy, just a silent shadow, long, wide, and burning hot, that moved across the stars like death itself. A ship so large it could not land. So advanced, it gave off no traceable energy. And inside it, the last message humanity ever gave the galaxy: you made your choice. You will now learn why it was the worst one. The ship didn't fire lasers. It didn't drop bombs. It simply rewrote the land itself. Tralix 9 became dust, like a page erased from history. Not a single scream, not a single escape pod. Everything gone. Across the galaxy, those watching from far system survivors, rebels, scientists, even the neutral ones, fell into silence. Even children who had never seen Earth now knew the name by heart: humanity. One rebel captain whispered the truth. No one wanted to say, "This isn't war anymore. This is a warning." But it was too late. One by one, planets that once helped the invaders vanished, not always through attack, but through silence. Their signals stopped, their lights faded. Their systems became ... empty. Some believed Earth was doing it. Others said something even worse had awakened, something Earth once kept locked away. Whatever it was, no one dared call for war again. No one even said the word human too loudly. Galaxy finally understood. They did not defeat Earth. They only made Earth rise. And those who survived, they lived quietly, carefully. Passing down one lesson for generations: never provoke Earth. Never go near them. Ever forget what? They are a memory, a warning, a legend. That was humanity's final weapon, and it worked forever.